guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Garden of Mirth. It's springtime on the farm and we are quite literally surrounded by new life on every corner of our property. Today I'm going to take you around the homestead and show you what all we have going on, and I'm also going to share my latest recipe, strawberry basil balsamic vinaigrette, just in time to enjoy those in-season strawberries that are popping up everywhere this time of year. One of my favorite things about our homestead is that we inherited history not only in our house, but throughout our land. The pear trees, grapevines, peonies, pecan trees, honeysuckle vines, and irises were all planted by the family that owned our home before us. When the peonies and the irises start blooming and the fresh eggs are coming in every day, we have strawberries and asparagus coming in from the garden. It is such a wonderful time of year. This spring is extra special because we are awaiting 2 clutches of eggs to be hatched in early May. I'm going to share all about our special rescue broody mamas and their chicks in a separate video as we prepare a maternity ward for them to hatch out their chicks and raise those. But for today, we're going to focus on our homestead and the garden. In the garden, we are still knee-deep in prep work because we've had to reclaim a lot of overgrown areas that we let go last year when we had our little girl. So we started off burning down all of the excess weeds and grasses that had died over the winter. And then we started pulling up some of the black plastic that we had used as a weed barrier prior. I do like the weed barrier in certain aspects, but a lot of this had become so overgrown that there was huge holes in it and plants were growing right through it, so it just wasn't usable anymore. This will be our first year in planting out the garden in its entirety. Our future plans include adding a lot of perennial spaces within that fenced-in area to help protect from deer and rabbit and all kinds of critters. We plan to add grapevines and blueberry bushes and raspberries and boysenberries throughout the garden in certain areas. So a lot of this should be perennial spaces that don't have to be planted every year. But for right now, we're just getting started using a lot of the space in this garden. So we're kind of reclaiming, going through and weeding and doing what we can do to get it ready to plant. I really had my hopes up that this year would be my year for strawberries, but so far we have battled a lot of pests. Between rabbits, squirrels, and now our own dogs, we are losing several berries to critters. Thankfully, I live in a community that is filled with people who grow amazing strawberries, so we're taking what we can get from our patch and then also going and getting some from our community. One of my favorite places to buy strawberries each year is a roadside market a couple counties over. I make sure to get a couple gallon from them every year to preserve. Picked up about 3 gallons of strawberries to take home, and I'm going to make some strawberry preserves, and then I'm also going to use about 2 cups of these to make my strawberry basil balsamic vinaigrette.
I'm going to
start the dressing recipe by hulling 2 cups of strawberries. This is especially good to use if you've got some strawberries that are starting to get a little soft, because we're just going to blend these up with an immersion blender anyway. Alright, so once you've got about 2 cups, here I'm just measuring in my pint jar, which is about 2 cups. I'm going to go ahead and start adding the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of olive oil. You want to make sure that you are using a neutral oil so it doesn't overpower the flavor. Probably hear my little helper back there. And then I'm going to use some white balsamic vinegar, but you can use regular balsamic too. I think it would just be a little bit stronger with balsamic flavor if you use the regular. Use 1/4 cup of white balsamic. Really? I'm going to use about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm just using some Redmond's mineral salt. And then black pepper. I'd say probably about 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2. I just do that by taste, so you may want more or less in yours. And then I used fresh basil the first time I made this, and it was phenomenal. I'm out of fresh basil right now, so I'm just going to use some dried. If you're using fresh basil, you want to use about 1/4 cup. If you really like basil, you could even go up a little bit more than that. But 1/4 cup is what I used the first time, and I really liked that. I'm going to be using some dried today, so I'm going to use a tablespoon or so of this dried basil. Dried is going to have a whole lot stronger flavor, so I'm going to use about a tablespoon of that. Alright, now we are ready to blend with our immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can totally do this in a regular kitchen blender. We're just going to blend until it's pureed and everything is mixed in. And it tastes better if you make a mess. Realized that I forgot to show adding the honey. So you want to use about 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey or a sweetener of your choice, just to kind of help balance the acid. So we're going to get that mixed in, and then we'll be ready to taste. I feel like the camera is really doing justice to how pretty and red this is. I definitely think that I prefer the fresh basil. However, this is still great the way it is. Super tangy, and it has that fresh strawberry and basil kick with the acid from the balsamic. This has been a hit in our house. We've really been enjoying this on salads. We have grilled some chicken and layered it with some fresh cut strawberries, mixed greens, and a sharp cheese, and walnuts and pecans, and we have just really been enjoying this recipe. I'm going to put a link in the description below to the printable recipe for this if you would like to try to make it at home. Thank you for coming along with us today as we looked around the farm and saw all the new life, all the new growth that's happening. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of that. Until the next time, you can catch us eating all of the delicious strawberries in every way possible. If you would like to look for more strawberry recipes, check out my blog, gardenofmirth.com, where you can find my strawberry ice cream, which is another wonderful way to use up these sweet in-season strawberries. Until next time, you can catch us on the blog, gardenofmirth.com, Instagram and Facebook. Bye, friends.